All right, welcome back to White Mountains. Today, as promised, we have Ability Plus in the form of Elaine Breen. It's Breen,
Yes,
right?
Breen.
Not Green. I'm sorry. I think I said Green earlier. Apologize for that. And Mick Euler. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
So we were just talking probably for about 10 minutes before the cameras came back on about everything that Ability Plus has done. Now, tell me about the origins of the program.
The program started, we're actually in our 20th anniversary year this year, so that's a big deal. And the program started, our founder, a gentleman by the name of Mark Shepard, was very passionate about skiing and very passionately involved with disabled veterans and things like that, and was searching for ways to help with recovery and that kind of thing, and realized that there was no real systematic programming for adaptive skiing.
Right.
So that's really the kind of the grassroots origins of it. And so he just kind of took that and came out to the East Coast.
Yeah.
I think he was trying it out in Colorado for a while.
Right.
And that's really just kind of how it started, was just somebody with seeing a need and trying to fill it.
And 20 years ago, and then when he came to Mount Washington Valley, partnered with Attitash and Wildcat. Well, actually, it was just Attitash. I don't think there were sister resorts at that time. And started this, because I remember hearing about it, Ability Plus, you always associate with Attitash. But what you guys have done, too, is expand it. So it's not only winter, it's summer. There's other resorts that are participating, including in the winter, cross-country skiing.
Yep.
Mick, how did you come to Ability Plus?
It's been, I guess, 6 years now, and living in the Valley, I loved all the outdoor experiences that are available to us, and that we're all passionate about. That being said, I have a background working with people with disabilities, specifically in grad school. I did an internship with athletes with disabilities, and so when I heard about Ability Plus, I said, all right, let's check this thing out. Showed up at the orientation and just fell in love with the work that we do. The community of volunteers really just is special and unique in so many ways. We're very tight. We're like a family. We make sure that the participants feel like they're part of that family as well. And then, long story short, I ended up meeting my wife, who was a volunteer at the time, and we're about to...
We really want to make sure we hung on to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're even about to expand our Ability Plus family here any week
awesome.
now. So
Congratulations, Mick.
too.
That's excellent news. And Elaine, how about you? What's your backstory with the program? Because you're both on the board of directors, but you do different things. Or are you both in the volunteer program? Because you are the director of the volunteers, or
no, we're both active volunteers with the program. Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Yeah. So Mick is a volunteer instructor as well as being on the board. I really started with the program when my son became a program participant. He's on the autism spectrum, and when he was probably 8, we started to, all right, maybe skiing might be a good thing. And my husband and I at that point hadn't really skied in years and years, so we didn't really feel like we could do this. So we heard about the program from actually my staff accountant who works for me, had her son in it at a different location. So she had mentioned it to me. So we always liked Attitash, loved them, and I've always loved Mount Washington Valley ever since I was a little kid. So we figured we would check it out, and so we did a long weekend that first year, and he did great once he accepted getting the boots on and getting skis on, right?
Which can be a little uncomfortable.
Well, especially for somebody with verbal challenges, but he did great. And then the second year we did like 2 or 3 more weekends and spent an awful lot of money on lodging. And then the third year we got a seasonal rental, and that was pretty much it. So so he skied with the program till he was 13. And then graduated in a way. He was able to outski all the instructors but one at that point. And so he then went over to the Attitash seasonal programs and skied with the ATV program, and he's in Teen Mountain training now, and it's
so
just been...
as a parent, you just saw this key to an experience for your child that he latched onto and off like a rocket.
He absolutely did. And the one thing I do try to tell people, it is not just about the sport, skiing or snowboarding or hiking that we offer, or canoeing or kayaking or cycling. It's so much more than that, because the participants, they might have cognitive challenges, verbal challenges, physical challenges, other things, anxiety and things like that. So when you look at some of these activities and realize some of the other intrinsic skills that are involved in it that some of us take for granted, like decision making, judgment, sensory input from your skis on the snow or your boots on the ground or those kinds of things. To be able to work all of that in that kind of a setting when, especially with kids, a lot of them are in school being told what to do, facilitated constantly, prompted constantly. All of a sudden now they have to make their own decisions. They have to think. They have to think quick, make decisions, make smart decisions, plan. So they take so many of these skills that they can now develop in a different setting, organically, really. And they can take those skills now to school and those skills out into their communities. And really, it's...
And I'm sure it gives them a sense of accomplishment and responsibility that kids, if you let them do stuff like that. And Mick, how do you transition a kid from being scared to go and, and being this huge unknown for them, really? How do you get them on the slopes and loving it?
Well, excuse me. It's certainly an art, and it's always a challenge. And it's, I think, true to the adaptive description. We have to be adaptive, and through orientation, we learn about all kinds of different approaches that we can take, all kinds of different techniques in order to help a student that is that might be struggling in any particular way. Whether that's a wounded warrior who's maybe has some PTSD or a student that with autism that has some sensory challenges. We're going to look to do everything we can to make that transition even to the office one that is not as intimidating as it could be.
Right.
And if you walk into our office, you're going to see all kinds of welcoming, friendly faces. You're going to hear people singing sometimes. You're going to see games. You're going to see a whole variety of different ways that we're making that a welcoming environment for all of our participants. And that doesn't stop right there in the office. We're playing games out on the slopes. We are doing all kinds of different things that are hopefully making it not just a fun, but also, like Elaine said, a skill building experience and a positive experience for them that's more multifaceted. Some people just think about this being ski instruction, and it's really so much more than that.
Now, you said it's a wide range of participants. So it's everything from kids all the way through adults, anyone who's experiencing a challenge that this can be of benefit to. How did they get in the program? How did they get in touch with you guys? Where is the office?
So the office is at Attitash. In the Adventure Center, so where all the other lessons and programming goes out of for Attitash, that's where we are. We have a separate room in there. And the easiest way to get a hold of us is our program director, Liz Waymeyer. Liz couldn't be here this morning because we've got some heavy programming going on this weekend. Is probably to email her, L. Waymeyer, W-E-H-M-E-Y-E-R.
We'll get it on the event calendar
at abilityplus.org. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of her. And what email and say, we'd really like some information about lessons and what can you tell us and what do you offer, and then she can send out send out information and be in contact.
And true to the program, you guys don't want any obstacles, no hurdles for people to get in on the program. So don't think financials or gear is going to hold you back. This is something that you do want to open doors. So there's always a conversation to be had.
Absolutely. We have adaptive equipment from kids sit skis, adult sit skis, sliders, 4-tracks, outriggers,
great.
Anything like that to overcome any kind of physical challenges. And then if there are cognitive challenges, that's a whole nother bag of tricks a lot of the time, as Mick was saying, and we bring it.
Right. Well, we talked about Seek the Peak, which you had a great success, or a few. Tell me about that story real quick.
So last year, Chrissy Frazier over at the OBS had been in contact with Liz Waymeyer, our program director, and they had some casual conversations prior to that. So Chrissy checked in with Liz as she was working on the planning for the event for this past summer, and got us a couple of sponsorships to have a couple of teams. So we fielded 2 adaptive teams for Seek the Peak. One was a local elementary age kids that participate during the week with us on the snow and in the summer cycling. And so they did a smaller peak. I think they did Black Cap on the Friday.
Great.
And then we fielded another team that included my son and also another program participant who had been recovering from a stroke from a year before. And we summited on Seek the Peak Day.
That just gave me chills.
It was
such
the best experience. It really, really was. You know, and we did, leading up to it, we did 3 or 4 training hikes once a week up until leading up to the day itself. Good. Worked on, like in my son's case, you know, he doesn't have any physical challenges, but, you know, as we were talking about before with planning and executive function, okay, sit, let's get the map out. Which way do you think we should go? How long do you think it will take? You know, look at the topography, because he knows how to read a topo map. What do you think is going to happen as we get higher? What are we going to need to bring for clothes? What are you going to have to pack?
There's a lot of
food. Food's important to him. He's 16. Food's really important. So a lot for him. The goals were very different than, say, for the other participant that came with us.
But you got up there and you
it was
summited and
great. It was
wonderful.
a great day.
Congratulations
It was a
on
wonderful
that success.
experience. I think we're ready to hit it again for this year too.
So all these things, though, it takes help. It takes volunteers.
Yes.
And it takes money. So let's talk about how people can help. 1, in their time, but 2, also to raise money, because you guys have an event coming up.
We do. On March 10th, we have our Saturday, March 10th, our annual big fundraiser event, Springfest, we call it, and that's at Attitash. The mountain's been just very gracious and so generous with everything that they provide to us and the support that they provide.
And that's going to be right in the lodge, or where is it going to be?
It's going to be in the base lodge. I think it's in the south wing, but I'm not exactly sure of the location within the base lodge, but it will be in the main lodge on the ground floor.
Great.
We'll have piles of silent auction items. Like local businesses are so generous for us. Some good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, some airline tickets on this one too.
That helps fund all this, the scholarships that we are talking about.
Yes.
And they can find out more about the program if they want to become a volunteer.
Yes.
And sort of get their first
Absolutely.
experience.
And interestingly enough, a couple of our new volunteers this season were as a result of Springfest last year. They came to the event and loved what they saw and who they met, and they came and they're volunteering this year.
There you go.
And for anyone that's interested, whether for a participant or to be a potential volunteer or help in any other way, Facebook page probably is the best way to get some information. Because it's our 20-year anniversary, we also have some fantastic stories from participants and volunteers that are really inspirational and paint a beautiful picture of the work that we do.
Awesome. So would it be Ability Plus that they search for on Facebook?
Yeah, so Ability Plus Adaptive Sports is the Facebook page.
All right.
Website, we're transitioning a little bit. We decided to really update it. It hadn't been updated in a really long time.
Happens.
So that's a little bit of a work in process right now, but Facebook is pretty much live with great pictures and great stories of what we're doing every day and every weekend and all our events that are coming up.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to meet you both. And
Thank
you for all the work that you're doing and volunteering. Folks, it's March 10th, but don't let that, you don't have to wait. You can go to Facebook and search for Ability Plus Adaptive Sports. Thank you. And find out more about this great organization. They're looking for help on and off the slopes. And as you heard them say, there's summertime programs. You want to give a shout out to the resorts that are participating? Be nice.
Yeah, we do Attitash, Wildcat, Jackson Ski Touring, Whitaker Woods, we snowshoe there. Brakeland Trails in the summertime for cycling, Purity Springs for canoeing and kayaking.
Great, all great.
And the OBS.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you again for everything.
Thank you.
And we'll have on our website, we'll also post a link to their event page so you can check it out. All right, we're going to move. We have weather. We have watch wind, more snow on the way.
Yay!
Not as much as we thought.
We need it.
But it's going to be something. Yeah, exactly. So stay tuned. More to come here on White Mountains Today.